Series. They didn't disappoint as they treated race fans to all kinds of action. By day's end, all eyes were on number 16, Tim Steele, making his way back through the field after a late race pit stop. Result, another super speedway victory for Steele, giving him a chance to tie some of racing's great names for Speedway wins. Tonight, you're in Charlotte. It's the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the Automobile Racing Club of America is back for another spectacular event, 400 kilometers of competition. Hello, everyone. Ken Squire, and along with me tonight, a two-time champion of ARCA. That's Venturini. You've heard the name, Bill Venturini from Chicago, Illinois. And also working with us on this show tonight, Ray Dunlap is here. Now, he's been with ARCA for years. He can tell you all the stories about this division that's lining up just down below and getting ready for competition. And Steve Burns is down there with more about some of the principles in tonight's race.
Hey, folks, the last time I talked to Tim Steele, it was Saturday night. We were in victory lane. He was trying to celebrate, but there's smoke pouring out of this car. Tonight he starts from the pole. Tim, how about tonight?
You know, this HSI, some like Ford Thunderbird things, it's awesome. You know, we've been down here, and we really haven't changed a whole lot since we've been here. You hear about how this place changes and this and that. We just took our time, made a few small adjustments here and there, and, you know, everything's great. Hopefully we can bring one home.
All right, Blaze Alexander on the outside of row one. Let's go back one row to Randy Pemberton.
Well, that's where Andy Hillenberg sits in the AC Delco Chevy, the number 52. Andy had a third place Saturday night. Have you tweaked on this car a little bit, gotten it a little better, maybe win tonight?
I hope so. You know, I feel pretty good about it. We're going to try to do it all at the end of the night rather than the beginning. And, you know, we were better on long runs of the first race, and hopefully that'll hold true here tonight.
Okay, good luck to you. This guy teaches a driving school here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's got over 25,000 miles at this track. Ken?
There you see the starting field, and we'll tell you more about the action that's about to go for 167 laps, 250 miles. The ARCA 400 is brought to you by Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes. And by Pringles, so fresh once you pop, you can't stop. And by the employee owners of TWA, proud to celebrate 50 years of continuous transatlantic service. Charlotte Motor Speedway on the mile and a half, and on this evening, it is time for the Automobile Racing Club of America to strut their stuff. First time they've been here since a guy named Jack Bowser sat on the pole 32 years ago, and in one of his cars, Curtis Turner sped to victory. They're some 30 miles an hour faster as they line up for tonight's start, and here's how they'll go. The starting grid this evening. Tim Steele, the current point leader and winner last Saturday, is on the pole in number 16 of that Ford. Blaze Alexander, a young rookie, 20-year-old youngster who ran second the other night, is in second spot. Row 2 is Andy Hillenberg, the 1995 ARCA champion, and Mark Thompson. Row 3 is Kirk Shelmerdine and Mark Gibson. For row 4, the winner at Salem, Indiana this year, Toby Butler and Harris Devane. Row 5 is Kelly Denton, a 23-year-old freshman from Bristol, Virginia, and Perry Tripp. Row 6 is Bobby Bowser, the 92 and 94 ARCA champion, and Dill Whittemore III. Row 7's Mark Stahl and Ed Dixon. Row 8, Alan Russell and Dale Frieder. In row 9, it's Billy Ogle and Glenn Brewer, the brother of Tim Brewer. Then in row 10, it's Del McCowart and Rick Eckert. Row 11, David Frog Hall. Steve Clark's alongside. Norm Benning and Gary Weinbroer in row 12. Row 13 is Rick Heiser and Bob Hill. Row 14 tonight, Jerry Hill and Andy Stone. Row 15, Mike McNeese and Ben Hess, a two-time ARCA winner at Daytona. Row 16, Dick Tracy's there with Philip Young. Row 17, Fred Ware and Brad Smith. In the 18th row, Ron Burkett and Mike Chiacchetti, who had a big crash here the other night. Row 19 is Matt Mullins, an LW winner, and it'll be Ron Kreitzer rounding out the field for tonight's race. So this particular group, if you haven't watched the Automobile Racing Club of America before, are certainly one of the most versatile in American motorsports. Yeah, they run on pavement. Yes, they run on short tracks. Yes, they run at Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, Charlotte, super speedways like Michigan. And they also run at places like DuQuoin, Illinois, and Springfield, Illinois, Indianapolis. This is some versatile group. You can run dirt, short track, and long track.
Well, I'll tell you, Ken, parity is certainly the name of the business in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. And when you look at this field, you've got a lot of parity, too, there, down through the ranks. In 1996, we've had 5 different winners in the first 7 races. Now, Tim Steele has certainly dominated. You see his car there on the screen on the super speedways, as he's got 3 victories this season. But 1 year ago, there were 14 different winners in 21 races.
Tim Steele really focusing on this and trying to use it as a diving board. And Bill Venturini, that business of being able to run in various disciplines, that is really important, and it gets overlooked a lot.
Oh, definitely. Your experience between the short tracks and the dirt tracks all the way to the super speedways really makes you more of a diverse type of a driver. When things happen out on the speedway, you can adapt a little better. You can set your cars up a little better. I'm looking forward to a good race, especially with the young Blaze Alexander on the front row, who had a good finish Saturday.
Now, there's an interesting story in Tim Steele tonight that we mentioned at the outset. There are 3 drivers that have won 8 races on super speedway. The late Grant Adcox was one. Jimmy Horton, and of course Sergeant Charlie Glotzback, who sat on the pole for many Winston Cup races. They've all won 8 races, super speedway style, and tonight Tim Steele is right there on the cusp of doing the same thing. He's won 7. He's got to pull it off tonight if he's going to go for 8 in this particular show here at Charlotte.
Well, Ken, the only way to win a championship is to have consistent finishes throughout the season. If Tim Steele wins tonight, or if he doesn't win, it doesn't matter. He's going to leave here as the points leader, because he's got a 325-point pad over Bobby Bowser. So Steele will be the point leader tonight, but throughout the course of the season, he's had a 2.6 average finish in the first 7 races. That's about as good as you get.
Going to cut him some slack for 2 laps to get him ready. And as we take a look at the race analysis, we'll get ready. Engines have been fired. As you look at Tim Steele's car, which you may see more of here for sure, $136,000 in the hopper, and they're saying 166 laps. We said 167. We stand corrected. 249 miles, and there are 39 cars out here getting ready to play. This particular group, and you don't like to talk about any group as a starter or as a move forward group into another racing division, but some very good people. We mentioned Grant Adcox did a lot of ARCA running. Certainly Glotzback, he cut his teeth out here, and you think back to the older Bill Venturini.
Davey Allison. Everyone, Davey Allison ran ARCA full time for 2 years with us. Michael Waltrip ran a full season with us. Rick Wilson.
Well, I remember guys like Remo Stott and Iggy Katona.
That's a few years ago, Ken, back when '64 when they ran that first race here.
Back before Venturini.
Before I was racing.
Yeah, right. Don't need a date, but I did like Iggy Katona a lot. He was some racer. Anyway, course description probably is in order right here as the field rolls down pit road. And it's a 1.5-mile track. It's banked 24 degrees in the turns. That'll get your attention. 5 degrees here in the front and back straightaways. They get a little grain. And 1,300 feet plus a little down into turn 3. That'll really get your attention. You've driven here in other divisions.
Yeah, definitely. The back straightaway here is the only place you actually really get to get any type of break at this racetrack. The corners are pretty wide, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. You don't get a break coming through the front straightaway because you've got the trioval. You've actually got two dog legs coming down the trioval, and you have no time to relax. And especially coming off of 4, you come right up to the wall, and then you come right back down to the grass. You're using the whole racetrack, so you've got to be ready.
To Ray Dunlap, the question, what were they told in driver's meeting?
Well, basically use your heads. That's what they tell them in every driver's meeting. But Ken, you have to remember, this is the first time that any of these drivers have been on a super speedway under the complete lights. I mean, this thing in Charlotte, this is an incredible phenomenon to run on a 1.5-mile track with the lights on. We ran here Saturday night, but the race event was earlier in the evening. So tonight, they'll be doing the first time ever under the lights.
Car number 2 getting a little assist here to get up to speed and get it out of the way.
Matt Mullins in car number 2 there having trouble getting that thing fired. A great crowd on hand tonight. 140-some thousand here last Saturday night to watch the ADG EasyCare 100. Tonight it's 400 kilometers, 250 miles. This is going to be a long race.
Let's go down to Randy Pembroke and get a little word about pit strategy for tonight.
Well, there is somewhat of a pit strategy going on for this race. I was curious, and I pulled a few creep sheets as to how far they can go on gas here, and it was a little less than I expected, just about 60-some laps. So it's going to take 60 laps with the tank that they have full right now, plus 2 more pit stops at minimum. So we're going to see some of the quicker pit crews affecting the outcome of this race, and plus a lot of tire changing. So we'll see some pit strategy before this one's over.
That's an area where you always need some work when you come to a super speedway. Looking at the points here, you see that 320-point advantage that Tim Steele has pulled out. Blaze Alexander, that rookie, having a great year. And Harris Devane right there with him. Ed Dixon just behind them in 5th, but the battle is Alexander and Devane. They had co-rookie of the year last year.
Yeah, the first time ever in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series that we had co-rookies, and these guys really deserved it too when you're talking about Bill Whittemore and Harris Devane, a couple of really qualified drivers, and I think you'll see something from them yet tonight.
One more lap before they're going to let them off the hook, get them underway. A lap and they'll send them away. With the 20 Chevrolets, 12 Fords, 4 Pontiacs, and 3 Oldsmobiles comprising this field.
Normally, Ken, you would see a Dodge product of some sorts in one of our ARCA races, but not tonight. Mark Gibson is in the Ford. He was one of the last drivers to try to bring Chrysler back into big-time racing, and they just weren't getting enough help, so he said, we're going to go work with the Ford people.
Well, also with the help of his brother, Tony Gibson, who was with the McDonald's team last year, and he left the Bill Elliott team to go back with his brother's team with all the Ford experience, and that kind of helped a lot. And I know they're using Ernie Elliott motors this year, so that's another one of the good reasons why they switched over to Ford for this year.
Watching Tim Steele up in that front row, 1 at Atlanta, 1 at Talladega, and 1 here at Charlotte on Saturday night, now coming back to try to sweep it up.
And Ken, there's a lot of money on the line tonight for Tim Steele. If he wins tonight's race from the pole, he'll get $2,000 from the AC Rapid Fire bonus program. And tonight is the 8th event of the season, so he gets a $2,500 bonus for being the point leader. That's from AC Wire and Cables. And of course, the purse is going to be up around $16,000, so he could take home about $20,000 or $21,000 tonight. That's a pretty good night of racing.
Yeah, definitely this is one of the better purses that the ARCA guys run for. It makes it really more exciting. Brings a good field of cars here to race. Pace car is coming off, dropping down pit road.
And we're ready to do business. Tim Steele brings them down. Automobile Racing Club of America, their longest race to date at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Steele holds out, easily going into turn number 1. Blaze Alexander falling back a bit and moving up on the way from the inside. Good move into that second position is going car 66. The 52 pulls right in with him. Down the back straightaway, Mark Thompson in here. Good, clean start.
Thompson's running 4th. Blaze Alexander is 3rd. Andy Hillenberg has moved up to 2nd. The guys get single file now, and that's what you have to do right at the start of this race till you get a good handle of how your car is going to go through the turns and get those tires heated up.
Second place, Andy Hillenberg. A great victory a year ago at Daytona. Runs the driver's school on this track, has a lot of experience, and he and Steele are drawing up and pulling about 10, 15 car lengths away from Blaze Alexander.
You know, Ken, we talk about all the experience that Andy Hillenberg has here. Of course, he's the 95 champion in this series. He's got a lot of experience, but not that much in racing conditions. He does the driving school, but they're not running nearly this fast whenever they do the school.
Keep an eye on that number 66, Mark Thompson. Good, steady racer.
Oh, you can see
Black car. Oh, 56 is erupting in smoke. That's Dill Whittemore, the 3rd, in trouble out of turn 2. Engine expiring, perhaps.
They've had a lot of trouble with the transmission in this car this week. I don't think it's the motor. I think they're blowing some oil off the transmission, and boy, that's a tough break for Dill Whittemore coming into this race tonight. He needed a good finish here at Charlotte to get back in that points race.
And maybe the first man out of competition among the 39 that started. Back up in front as Whittemore is being lapped. Tim Steele leads them down. Right with him comes Hillenberg in 2nd spot. Maintaining 3rd, it's still Blaze Alexander with the 66 of Mark Thompson in 4th.
You know, Ken, I think we should make reference to how difficult it is to come into this series and run every race. This year we'll have 28 events. and a lot of smoke now coming out of Dill Whittemore. I think they're going to they have given him the black flag, so the 56 will go to the pit area.
We have a couple cars coming down pit road right now. Looks like the car, the 11 car of Fred Ware, the 68 car of Ron Chrysler pulled behind the wall.
And Dick Tracy on the pit road right now in car number 1.
Dick Tracy's car just coming in. They're doing some work on it and hope to get it back out. Meanwhile, to the stripe, Steele stays first. Hillenberg in second. And Blaze Alexander, the rookie, stays third. Mark Thompson holds on to fourth. Fifth at the present time, give it to number 59. Glenn Brewer has brought out the first caution tonight, bringing the ATK remanufactured engines machine onto pit road. He qualified in the 18th position among the top 20 and was out for hoping for a really good run here, but something's amiss. Put out a lot of smoke coming out of turn 2. The brother of Tim Brewer, the famous Winston Cup crew chief.
Ken, you see the phone number that's on the hood here. Of course, you're not going to see it long as they put the hood up, but a very young girl named Sarah Taylor is in need of a liver transplant. She's the daughter of Glenn Taylor, and he's the crew chief on this car this weekend. He had a lot of experience in Winston Cup, and over here trying to help Glenn Brewer, and they have a phone number there on the hood, and it's 704-786-4318 if anyone's interested in trying to help this beautiful young girl.
Car number 10, Glenn Brewer, doing some personal social work out here, and turned into a short night for him. And I think that's the number 56 back, and that one's still having trouble too. That's that Dill Whittemore car. Glenn Brewer, number 10, he has been hell on wheels when it came to dirt. Great at DuQuoin, great at Springfield. Really wanted to put on a good performance here tonight, and it hasn't worked out for him.
He's been one of those true ARCA supporters. He's been racing ARCA for the last 4 or 5 years full-time. Great competitor. Actually, one of the best friends you can have in racing. Anything he's got, if you have a problem, he's willing to help you. He's just a super guy. Great dirt racer, like you said, Ken. He was leading it, I think it was Springfield, and had a problem with 1 or 2 laps to go.
Yeah, ran out of gas and got whipped there. And at DuQuoin that same year, Bob Schatt beat him on the very last lap. We'll take a quick break and be back. Get the action back underway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Automobile Racing Club of America, ARCA. 16.5 miles down and some 233 to go. Randy Pemberton can update us on the story on these 2 cars that just recently had trouble, including Brewer.
Well, Glenn Brewer getting ready to be pushed off, evidently pushed back to the garage area. Broken power steering pump for the ATK remanufactured engines, as well as Dill Whittemore, leaky valve cover for them, so they're going to try and work on that. They're also going to try and work on Brewer's car, but it's going to be a long night. He won't win here tonight. Neither guy will.
Field coming down for a start.
Ken, you know, Dill Whittemore's had an up-and-down season. He sat on the pole when we raced at Salem back in April. He's had some good finishes throughout the season, but right now the points race is tightening up back there in 7th and 8th position, and this is certainly not going to help him. His best finish coming at Salem, where he finished 3rd. Ready to go back to green.
And Mike McNeese almost trapped on pit road. He tries to hustle out as the field comes down with Steele and Hillenberg leading them across. Blaze Alexander right there with him into turn number 1.
Started to make mention of Blaze Alexander. You know, running this series the very first time is really a very difficult task. Blaze coming from over in Pennsylvania running dirt late models, and he's come into this deal saying, I'm going to go to the dirt races and the half miles, and that's a tough deal to do when it's your first year.
Take a look at 66, Mark Thompson, and the 59, that's Mark Gibson, and right with him, number 33, that's Harris Devane. Good battle back there, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Harris Devane making some good moves.
Yeah, you can see the 87 car of Kelly Denton is running in 8th. He was our pole sitter for Saturday night's race, and he was looking forward to running really good tonight. He's staying right with the leader, so doing quite all right.
Front of the field, Steele, Hillenberg, Alexander. You see Thompson and Gibson rounding out the top 5.
This is a good car that Mark Gibson has under him, Ken. Number 59 is the car that he finished 3rd with at Atlanta back in March. So this car runs really well on the Super Speedway.
Where did that car come from?
It came from the Rick Mass stable, Leo Jackson's cars. They bought 3 cars from him this year, and he was going to try to make the Winston Cup show with a car that Rick sat on the pole at Dover with last season, but they crashed that car in practice, and he will not attend.
And that's the 59.
Yes, that's correct.
Red and yellow 59 chasing down number 66, Mark Thompson. Struggle for fourth right now between those two. Meanwhile, up in front, working on his fourth super speedway victory of the season.
Kelly Denton just made his way around Harris Devane, so he goes from 8th to 7th position. A pretty strong car under him. As Bill, you said he had the pole the other night. They've been fighting a vibration a problem that they just can't seem to tackle, but it seems like they've got it worked out tonight. There he goes with another move.
Going down the back straightaway, Mark Thompson tries to put a move under Mark Gibson tries to put a move under Mark Thompson. He holds him off going through 3 and 4.
That's the battle for fourth position right there.
See a brand new sponsorship on Denton's car, number 86, the sponsor of tonight's race, ADG EasyCare, and they came on board with Kelly when he won the pole the other night and said, you did such a good job, we're going to stay with you.
Got a driver change taking place down on pit road. Glenn Brewer taking over in Dick Tracy's car. Randy can give us more on that story.
Well, you hit it right on the head, Ken. Same sponsor, same everything. They blew the fuel pump in this car, and he decided to go ahead and climb on that one. So that's exactly what they're doing. It's going to be a couple of laps down, but the real thing that I want to update is, unbelievably, the 52 car, which is running second, Andy Hillenberg, he has lost a cylinder. I heard it last time by. It is definitely flat. It's probably not going to get any better this evening. So his chances for winning are not good.
Oh, then when you lose a cylinder on a racetrack like this with this long of a race, it's very disheartening. Makes it for a real long night.
And part of that driver change may be just due to age. Dick Tracy's 52 years old and Glenn Brewer's 41, so he may be
going with youth.
Yeah, he may be able to sit in the seat a little longer than Tracy.
No, I think the big driver change was that Glenn Brewer owns both cars, so he's going to be, he wants to go out and race. Is what he wants to do.
Brad Smith getting lapped right there. Leader coming by is Tim Steele, and his interval now stands at 3.09. Steele drawing away from Hillenberg and struggle a little further back. Here's that 33 Harris Devane car, the red and white car, as he tries to close up some ground in turn 1. Harris Devane's pretty smooth.
Yeah, 1 year ago, Ken, when we ran at Talladega, Harris Devane almost won a race there. He took the white flag in the lead, and Mike Wallace came around him. You know what happened to him?
Out of gas?
Yes,
Out of
sir.
gas.
Remember that one.
Fuel mileage is
What
a big game.
heartbreaker that was.
That's a tough one. They've got a good team. They've got some motors there from Ernie Elliott and real good cars, and Harris is a good driver.
That's the car number 33, the red and white car, running for Rookie of the Year, Harris Devane. There you see Denton, that black and yellow car, closing up. Boy, that 06 is not having much fun tonight. Brad Smith getting turned around again by another group, putting him a lap down.
So this is Brewer going back out in car number 1. Now, he will get valuable experience here at Charlotte, but he will not get the points because Dick Tracy took the green flag in car number 1. He'll be credited with that finish. Brewer will be credited with car number 10. He very likely will finish about 37.
Don't think he cares too much. Think he likes to go racing.
I think you're right.
Continuing to watch this battle, as you see the 59 looking here for fourth spot. The 59 working in fourth is Mark Gibson, and continuing to pound right after him comes 86 Kelly Denton. Taking a look a little further back in the field here.
Mark Stahl in number 32 there. We see Ed Dixon in the Dan Altoff Chevrolet, number 51, and I believe that's Alan Russell tucked in right behind them. And Stahl with Auto Bell Car Washes. That's a local firm, Bill, here in the North Carolina area.
There's a few Auto Bells here in the Charlotte area, and Mark Stahl's been a supporter of Racing ARCA for the last 5 or 6 years.
That 32 running in 12th position, the 51 in 13th, and the 92 stays 14th, Alan Russell. What can you tell us about Alan Russell?
Well, Alan's a pretty good driver. He's run for a long time in the ARCA series. He's done a lot of sportsman racing right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Probably the most interesting thing is that Ralph Moody's working with this team. Remember Holman and Moody from back in the stock car?
Yep.
You remember that.
I'll even tell you a little something about Alan. He's driving the custom corrugated container car. Was back last year when I ran the Busch Series. He was my crew chief.
And he's in that white car among those three. He's back there in 14th position, giving it a good go tonight. Meanwhile, back up in front, it's Tim Steele. drawing away from the field. Hillenberg having some problems, they say, with the motor. We'll check on that story. Give you more when we come back. Mark Stahl in number 32, running in the 14th position, and feeling some pressure right now from Ed Dixon. The 92 has scooted by them. Alan Russell continuing to pick up positions. But as we watch now, we're watching Eddie Dixon in the number 51 making his move.
Eddie Dixon, Ken, with a lot of experience driving on the dirt tracks throughout the years. In 1993, he won the national championship for UMP late models. So he knows how to drive dirt, but he's learning this asphalt experience by running in this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series.
Running just about requalified. Battle for third. And there you see young Denton getting around Devane, the rookie in the red and white number 33, like somebody out of a cannon. Remember, he sat on the pole on Saturday night, and this youngster really wants to turn it up.
His finishes throughout the season, Ken, are not indicative of the way he's run, that's for sure. He finished 12th at Daytona, then 14th at Atlanta, but he had led that race and was running really well. Had the pole, of course, the other night right here at Charlotte.
Taking a look here as the number 98 car. That's Kurt Shelmerdine in the black car. Shelmerdine in number 98, and we'll check his position. That's in 6th position. And take a look at this struggle continuing between 32 and 51 as they do the tighten up. Mark Stahl back there in 14th position, and he's fighting to hold that from Ed Dixon in the 51. Interval first to second as they stretch it has been cut down a little. Is that right? Tighten it up. Hey, if that engine's going away, let me tell you, he's down to less than half a second now, and he had it by over a second. Good struggle here, 14th spot.
Eddie Dixon won a race last year at I-80 Speedway out in Omaha, Nebraska. Mark Stahl has never won a race, but he's run really well. He had a 7th place finish down at Daytona back in February.
Back up front. Tim Steele in front, but closing down. That's Hillenberg moving in, and Cahuth, the crew chief on that car, can give us some more on that Hillenberg story. Randy?
What's the story? Have you dropped the cylinder, or what's going on? You're running pretty good. Well, about after the last restart, we had a bad ignition box. The thing shut itself off, and he flipped the boxes over. We got going. And on the other AC Delco car, a piece of roll bar padding hit the on-off switch there and shut it down on Toby. But I think we're okay now. We got the problems over with early, hopefully.
I'll say he's closing in on leaders.
He sure is. 30 laps, 45 miles have been completed. And look at Hillenberg putting the pressure on Steele. Steele has won 3 super speedway races this year. Came up to Winston Cup a couple of years ago to replace an injured Chuck Bound. Says it was a mistake. He should have stayed in ARCA another couple of years. Came back, focused, won a championship, and here he is fighting Hillenberg. Hillenberg, winner at Daytona a year ago, back there in February. What a show he's putting on. Steve Burns can give us more on that Tim Steele story.
Can I just talk to Tom Sokolowski, his crew chief, and I said, hey, you guys having problems with the 52's catching? He said, no, he's just riding. He's just taking it easy. He said he's got a genuine hot rod tonight.
We'll see. There you see Ron Burkett just getting lapped, that number 30. He had started back in 38th position and come up to 20th and was moving well. Now he's overlapped by those 2 leaders.
Yeah, as Timmy Cahuth had elaborated, we have 2 ignition systems in these cars. And it's a good thing we do, as it shows for Andy Hillenberg. If you have a problem with it, you just reach over and flip a switch. Right now, we've got the 92 car of Alan Russell, who had moved up. He's coming down pit road here. He was running in, I think it was 13th spot.
Well, the leaders right now, Ken, just went around Del McCowart in car number 0. The Masters in Ford. Of course, Delma's done a lot of Winston Cup racing, a lot of ARCA racing. You talk about the 2 guys in the front right now. Tim Steele, the 1993 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde champion, and Andy Hillenberg won it last season in 95. But consistency is certainly the key to these 2 drivers. In 95, in his career, in 28 races, he's had 23 top 10 finishes. Now that's consistency.
There you see him right there. Take a look at this struggle. That's a dandy.
Yeah, as you can see,
4th, and 5th.
3rd, 4th, and 5th, which is the Les Express car of Blaise Alexander and Mark Gibson and Kelly Denton, have really closed it up. They've been running nose to tail all 3 cars for about last 5 laps. as if they stay together, even though this is not like Daytona or Talladega, the drafting still does help. And if they stay together, they should be able to close up on the two leaders.
Bill Venturini, how about drafting on this track? How much difference does it make?
This drafting isn't as important, like I had said, in Daytona and Talladega, but definitely it makes a difference here. It helps you up. As you can see, it looks like Andy Hillenberg is trying to put a move on Tim Steele.
There's Hillenberg. He took a sneak peek on the inside and pulled it back. He came down here to Charlotte, Hillenberg, back in 1990 at the urging of Bill Simpson. Simpson told him to come to Charlotte. He said it's the one place where real race drivers can still get a shot. Hillenberg came down here, and his success story's been pretty well told.
So he moves from Indianapolis, comes to Charlotte, and then he comes back up and races with ARCA in the Midwest in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. What a deal.
It's a small world.
Well, look at the same thing with me. Here I am living 2 miles from the Speedway, and I'm racing ARCA.
Third place battle. Watching Blaze Alexander. That's the black car with the red numbers. Then that red and gold car that's trying to chase him down in fourth spot is Mark Gibson. And right behind him comes Denton. Denton running in fifth spot in the number 86.
These three cars, Ken, are about 5 seconds behind the leader, so that's not too big of a problem. They'll keep them in their sights. And for you folks watching at home that didn't see the race on Saturday night, Blaze Alexander led the race coming off of turn 4 for the white flag, but the problem was he hadn't put on fresh tires, and all the other drivers had, so that took him out of the chance for the victory.
Leaders in traffic up in front trying to work their way around out there. Putting
yeah, they put a lap on Mark Thompson. That's very odd to see him in a super speedway race going a lap down this early in the race at lap 38.
He's got to have some type of problems. I know I had talked to his crew chief down the straight earlier, and they were fighting a tight, pushy race car. And I guess they still didn't correct the problem.
This is the same car, Ken, that they ran here the other night and wrecked late in the race. And so hats off to the crew for going back and getting that car fixed.
A lot of work done by a lot of people to put this field back in shape in such a short period of time. Usually super speedway wreck, as Bill Venturini can tell you, takes a little while to put it all back in one piece.
Do you know anything about that, Bill?
Yeah, do I know anything about that?
His son did a Methodist job of tearing one up the other night.
Well, you know,
it's not back yet.
And this schedule here for the Charlotte week, ARCA's never run 2 races within a 4-day period, let alone 2 super speedways. So it's really put a toll on the crews. My hat's off to every one of these guys here that made the show tonight, because after racing Saturday night, you usually need a week just to go over the cars and get them ready.
What I like about this is they go right from here to where? Xenia, Ohio, up to Kilcare.
Yeah, we'll run Kilcare and then Flat Rock, which is 3/8 mile and then a 1/4 mile. Then it's back to Pocono and
2.5 mile, then a 2 mile, and then Pocono again. The one I was looking for was when you get on dirt, and that isn't until what, August?
Yeah, we have about 5 of those in a row late in the season. But you know, this is only the 8th event of 28 this season. One of the biggest schedules that have been run in ARCA in the last 20 years.
Well, ARCA has been around for a lot of years. It goes back to the early days when NASCAR around, when John Markham put this deal together and ran it out of the Midwest. The Hutchersons came from here, as we mentioned. Ramo Stott a while ago. I was hoping we'd get to meet one of those Hutcherson brothers tonight, who cut his teeth and won some championships in ARCA back when.
Well, Markham's gone now, and also Bob Loga, the former president of ARCA, who passed away this year at Talladega in an automobile accident. And sort of a bittersweet night tonight to be here from a big crowd under the lights, a great race going on, and Bob not here to see it. And
Tim Steele dedicated his victory on Saturday night to the memory of Bob Loga. Said right up in front he was going for it for him. There you see the 17 car. That's the Chiachetti's car.
A little bit of smoke coming out of there.
That car is running. The 17 is running in 17th position. How about this? Hillenberg sneaks a peek inside.
I'd have to say Andy's probably got the little stronger car right now than Tim Steele, because every time they go through the corners, Andy's able to run up on Tim's bumper, and Tim can't shake him. Andy's probably just sitting back waiting, because I know Timmy is telling him to just save the tires and let's see what happens. But good show up and running for first and second.
And Steele making that thing about 14 feet wide as he brings it down the main straightaway in lap number 44. The 44th lap just being completed, with Andy Hillenberg still looking him over. 66 miles now complete. Those Those are the two top spots.
As Randy had talked earlier in the race about pit stops for gas, Saturday there were a couple teams that had run all 67 laps without gas, but tonight I'd see probably a figure right between laps 65 and 70 is the window they can run before having to pit for gas.
166 laps will make the difference in tonight's story.
Of course, the temperature much cooler tonight also, Ken. When you talk about the race here the other night, it was probably about 12 degrees hotter than it is tonight.
Steele giving up the inside a little bit, and Hillenberg hangs right on, hugs to him out of turn 2, but out of 4 is where he looks like he has the best opportunity to swoop through if he wants to make that particular move. The story could well be told on pit road, and when you get down to that, Hillenberg has a pit crew that knows their way around the super speedway tonight.
Well, the first part of the season, Tim Steele talked to me, and he said, you know, Ray, I'd really like to win 8 races this season and get the championship. Well, he's on his way, has 3 victories already, all of them coming on super speedways. And, Ken, we've got 6 more races left on the big tracks.
11 super speedway races on 8 different tracks this year for the Automobile Racing Club of America. Tim Steele stays first. Hillenberg in second. And maintaining third is Blaze Alexander. Pretty good strap up in front. We'll take a quick break and return to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for more. The Automobile Racing Club of America, ARCA, strutting their colors on the mile and a half. Good crowd out tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway to enjoy ARCA, Automobile Racing Club of America, and there's your new leader. Go to commercial, guaranteed to give you a leadership change. And at the present time, here's how it happened. Watch Hillenberg coming after Steele. Steele in the red, white numeral number 16 on the inside, split some lap cars and say goodnight.
That was Philip Young and David Hall in 13 and 12 that they split there, the lap cars. But boy, I'll tell you what, Bill, I think you were right. Andy Hillenberg has turned the wick up now on that AC Delco Chevrolet.
Oh, yeah, you could see it a few laps before we went to break that Andy's car was not washing up a little, and Tim's was. And I'm sure Tim will adjust that on his first pit stop.
Which should be coming, what, in about 10, 12 laps?
Yeah, it should be within about 10 or 12 laps.
One car that had been running up for the leaders, Mark Thompson, number 66, up in the front 5. He has now been on pit road and fallen several laps down. In fact, I think Randy can tell us more about Mark Thompson right now. Randy?
Well, Mark Thompson can tell us. Mark, what happened?
Well, we lost a cylinder there about the 3rd lap. Started losing oil pressure. And he was kind of giving up the ghost the whole time.
Okay, so that's it. He tries to smile after a good run at Talladega where he finished second. Tough break for Thompson and the guys.
Blaze Alexander maintaining third. Here comes Denton after him from 4th spot in the yellow and black number 86. Here's Denton on the inside making the move.
Well, this is the battle for inexperience out on the racetrack right now, Ken, because Kelly Denton is just 23 years old and Blaze Alexander's 20. These guys are getting big-time super speedway experience tonight here at Charlotte.
Like you had elaborated before, Ray, that when Andy turned up the wick, it looks like Kelly is too, because he's going by 2 cars now. He's going by the Blaze Alexander car and the 59 car of Mark Gibson.
That moves him up to 4th place.
He was about 5 laps down the other night when it was all over.
Oh, we got Bob Hill in the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet in the pits. Story about Bob was he had blown his motor up just before qualifying and had to go to a backup motor and was a 2nd round fast qualifier and got all the way up into the top, I think it was 8th or 9th spot.
Up to 10th. He was in the top 10 from dead right out back. Great run. Well, here's Steele closing in on Hillenberg again. At 55 laps already recorded.
1995, Ken, Bob Hill ran all the races in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series, but this season he's going to concentrate primarily on the super speedways. They've joined up as a team with another group of guys who have run the short tracks. That's Frank Kimmel, and of course Kimmel just won a couple of weeks ago at Pensacola. Both teams running car number 46 for Larry Clement.
There's the 21, Bowser. What happened to him the other night? We had high expectations about Bowser and didn't come out.
I don't really know what happened with Bobby. We got Kelly Denton coming down pit road here. Regular pit stops have started. Bob Hill was the first one to come down. Now we've got Kelly Denton come down. Should come in, get all 4 tires and gas and go.
Bowser had come up to 10th place, just as we saw him there. Here's Benton on pit road.
Well, Bobby told me that they just cut a tire out on the racetrack, and they had to make a green flag pit stop, and that'll throw you right out of the game here.
Ray Dunlap, what's the tire rule here in ARCA?
Well, we have no limitation on what they can do on pit road. It's basically unlimited. Of course, the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series running completely Hoosier tires, so all the cars on the exact same tire down there, but they can take on as many as they wish.
Bill Venturini, this car had trouble just before it came in. It looked like it might have been having tires get a little skinny. Take a look here. Yellow car.
Oh, yeah, you can see right coming off the corner. The car got good job of keeping the car out of the wall. I'm sure that was enough to make him want to come down pit road and put on 4 tires, because once you get sideways like that, you usually flat spot him anyhow. We got Tim Steele coming down pit road now, too.
Leader, second place on pit road, and Steve Burns can tell us more.
I talked to Tom Sokolowski just a minute ago, and he said they were going to make a 4-tire change. And Randy Pemberton said pit stops are going to be crucial this race. It's a longer race than the one they ran Saturday night. Looks like they're having a slow stop on the right side. Jackman comes around and slams the jack underneath. They have a tire hung up in the air hose. Again, this is a slow stop. The car has fallen off the jack. They're trying to get it back up. This is just going to hurt Tim Steele in this effort tonight. He's trying to keep the engine revved up. They drop the jack, and he's finally away. 31.4 seconds. Slow pit stop for Tim Steele.
That's what hurts you.
31 seconds, Ken, is about how long it takes you to make one complete lap around this track.
Hurt him bad. He comes out, and he's pinned in behind the number 8 as he comes up to speed, Andy Stone. Now gets clear and comes along, but that cost him a lap for sure. Bad break, maybe 2.
Yeah, the only
slow down and get in. They're all going to lose that.
The only thing Tim can hope for now is that that a yellow flag doesn't come out, because then he'll be able to make up his lap while the other guys come down pit road.
Here's the 26 on pit road, looking at Blaze Alexander coming down pit road, and here is Hillenberg, the leader, coming down as well. Let's go to Steve.
Blaze Alexander has the car in. As you said, he's been having a great run. He had a little bit of a difficult time getting around the number 32 of Mark Stile. So far, this has been a very clean, efficient pit stop. The Jackman brings it around for Dale Perry and the crew. Now, let's go back to Randy Pemberton, who's in the 52 pit.
Unaware of Tim Steele's fate on pit road, it's going to be only a 2-tire stop for Andy Hillenberg's crew. With Tim Cahoose on the right front, they're having a lot of trouble on the right front. They decided to go with 2, fill it up with fuel. This one is disastrous. They had an opportunity to go ahead and change 4 in about the same time period. Not going to happen for them. Still trouble on the right front. Wow, a tough break for them, 29-3. So, Tim Steele not that bad a shape comparatively to Andy Hillenberg.
I got to tell you, yeah, it's almost like this race is made to happen.
Yeah, the advantage that Andy Hillenberg had with the problems with Tim Steele on the pits seemed to strike back at him, so there was no disadvantage to Tim Steele.
No, Mark Gibson is now on pit road. He had inherited the lead. Now he's making a right side tire change, and he's looking pretty good. They're going all the way around.
And they're going to do 4 tires, too. If he can get out in about 20, 22 seconds, he'll have picked up probably about a quarter of a track on everyone else.
Randy can add.
Well, Bill Venturini might be able to comment on this. Bill, the driver had the wheels turned.
You know, you're talking about on Andy Hillenberg. I could see Timmy was banging on the fender, and he was trying to get the tire in place. And with the wheel turned, you can't make a pit stop. You can't change the tire. And I saw that. I didn't want to really yell at Andy about it, but seeing that's what it looked like to me too. That when you come in, and the problem is, I saw when he came in the pits, he had to go around another car. And what happens is when you enter the pit, your wheel's not straight.
Exactly right. It takes absolutely everything. Everything you have to do right.
So that's cost them, and that'll put those 2 top cars, the cars that were running away with the show, now they've got to do some fighting to do, and the 59 could well be the story of the race. Mark Gibson.
Well, Perry Tripp moves into the lead right now, and he has never led on a super speedway, so he'll be out front in car number 6. That's a WW Transport entry. A good run for Perry tonight, staying right in the top 10 all evening long, and now he's the leader, but I think you're right. Mark Gibson is the big winner there as he brought his car in, had a good, quick pit stop.
64 laps and 96 miles are complete. That car that ran 10th last Saturday having another good run right now. That is Perry Tripp.
I'm I'm glad to see Perry Tripp have a good run on the super speedways. This is his first year running full-time with ARCA. Plans on running for the point championship this year, and he's really excited about it, and I'm really happy to see him run good up here.
Fredericksburg, Missouri driver.
Perry's one of those drivers that has sportsman experience here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ken, of course, you may remember 2 years ago he was in a terrible fire on the front stretch as he rear-ended a car when a car spun in front of them, and he had a bad fire. But he's doing a great job tonight holding that car number 6 right on the line, and he's your leader.
And he's got a lot of experience. He's been in Silver Crown. He's been in sprints. He's been in modifieds, midgets, super modified. Oh, the 95 has looped it. That is the car of Steve Clark that had been having a good run earlier. And it's bringing out the second caution of the race.
Now this is the break Perry Tripp got. If he didn't pit, didn't lose a lap, it puts only 3 cars, I think, on the lead lap, which is Perry Tripp, Tim Steele, and Andy Hillenberg. Unfortunately to Mark Gibson and Mark Gibson and Blaze Alexander and Kelly Denton, because of the pit stop problems everyone had. Everyone went a lap down, and like I had said earlier, now is when everyone was hoping there wasn't a caution.
So it doesn't look like it's going to be a long one. We'll take a quick break and be right back as number 95 that had spun, Steve Clark, brings the car in. Back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, working lap number 68 of 166, watching leader Perry Tripp on pit road. The number 6 had been leading. That's going to give Tim Steele an opportunity to go back into first place. We interviewed Perry Tripp earlier here. Here he is finished. And there's the 59 car getting itself righted about. Mark Gibson.
No, it looks like Mark Gibson has got some problems here. He's behind the wall. The Isaac Ford is behind the wall right now, and he was one of the cars running up front. As a matter of fact, he was in 4th place just before this yellow came out. Came down pit road and turned down and went behind the pit wall.
It looks like they're going to just push it in. What's the point system in ARCA? How does the point system
Well,
work?
if you win the race, Ken, you get 200 points. There's a lot of bonus points throughout the season also. Every 5th race that you run consecutively, you get 250 bonus points. That's to award the guys that go chase the series all over the country. And you got to remember, guys like Mark Gibson, he's from Auburn, Georgia, and Glenn Brewer's from Columbus, Georgia. They got a big drive ahead of them to make it all the way up to Ohio, Illinois, and Indiana. So you want to reward those guys for traveling around the country.
The difference in positions on the racetrack where you finish is 5 points per position. Plus we also have a lap leader. For every lap you lead is a 5-point bonus.
Is there points for qualifying?
Yes, there is.
Top 5 drivers get it. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton right now, because Andy Hillenberg is back on pit road.
Well, he pitted while we were at break, and this is the second pit stop for him. They're going to go ahead and change left side tires, take a little tape off the grill as well. So, they're having more trouble again. Just could not get the car up, having a little trouble with the left rear. But this was a huge break for them because they just got right side tires. Now they got 4 new skins. So Hillenberg will definitely be a factor.
Yeah, that was a smart move on Timmy bringing Andy in, because he had only taken on 2 tires and some of the other guys had taken 4. And definitely you need 4. If everyone else got 4 tires, you can't give up that advantage. So it was a good call on Timmy Cahoot to bring him in, because I think there's only 6 cars on the lead lap right now because of what happened with the pit stops and the yellow coming out. It's caught a lot of guys in the pits that put them a lap down.
We'll catch you up on the field and how they're running after we take a break and then come back for the green flag start. The second caution has been completed here just about at Charlotte. 71-66 down. Steele, Hillenberg up in front. Perry Tripp back to 3rd. Blaze Alexander, Kelly Denton rounding out the top 5.
Well, we got 3 Chevrolets and 2 Fords there in the top 10. So again, parity is playing its role here as the leader is Tim Steele with the HS Dye and Simlink Ford, and Perry Tripp running second.
Well, we've got a little opportunity here. We'll take another quick break, then come back and give you the racing as it continues at Charlotte with the Automobile Racing Club of America. We're back at Charlotte, where we're watching the 2 guys on the end of that lead lap. That would be Blaze Alexander and Denton. They are actually running, 5th and 6th on the field. 4th and 5th, and they are leading. They're on the tail end of the lead lap as they bring them down. Let's go down to Randy and get more on the story of Mark Gibson.
Well, this is Mark Gibson's car. Should be a belt running right here. It is not there. Sees the motor up to him. We got Mark. Mark, can you believe that? What's that, about $2?
Yeah, something like that. It's unbelievable. You know, we had such good luck the first part of the week. Everything was going great, and today just everything went south on us. Wrecked the Cup car, trying to make a qualifying run. You know, they say it's better to wreck going fast than not wreck going slow. So we were in a hunt. This deal here, you know, we thought about changing the motor, but we wanted to put all our emphasis on the truck, on the Cup race. And so, you know, second guess. You can second guess yourself all day. But we had a good time in Charlotte. We'll be back.
And 73 laps, 109.5 miles when they flutter the green another time and send them away. And Tim Steele immediately goes to work, putting a lap on those guys up in front, trying to anyway. Blaze Alexander.
Kelly Denton have definitely pulled away from the other cars here, which is a good thing.
And look at that move by Denton as he went down to the inside, and he swept through. Denton himself 4th spot.
Yeah, Denton will be your leader back to the stripe, but again, that's not for the lead.
That's for 4th place right there. And the 86 has taken it away. Meanwhile, up in front, Tim Steele has pulled into the lead. There you see Perry Tripp in the blue and white number 6 in second, being challenged. Up to the outside comes Hillenberg.
Ken, you see him waving by there in the car. He says, Andy, come around me. I think we're going to be faster if you're in front of me, or maybe Perry's car's easing up a little bit. And the number 98 of Kirk Shelmerdine is slowing, and he's on his way into the pit area.
He is on pit road right now. Shelmerdine pulls number 98 in.
He was running 10th, and he's coming down pit road. He must have a problem.
Brand new sponsor on that car this week is the Bill Clemens RV World, and Kirk Shelmerdine is going to lose a lap here as he goes to the pit area.
So the leader stays Steele with Perry Tripp in second. Hillenberg right there with him as that struggle continues. But those two guys back in 4th and 5th stay just in front of the leaders. Here they come again.
And I'm sure all the viewers at home won't forget Bob Hill's wild ride that he took back in Daytona as he went end over end in turn number 1. And that car was demolished, but Bob Hill back on the super speedway is now giving it a good run right up there with Tim Steele. These first 6 or 7 cars seem to be the strongest of the field right up there, and Denton and number 26, Blaze Alexander, not giving it up to Tim Steele.
Bob Hill is in that red, yellow numeral number 46. That's Bob Hill, who had that terrible moment down there at Daytona.
Well, like we had mentioned before earlier, that Bob Hill had a fast race car. It's just he had problems qualifying first round, first day qualifying, and ended up having qualifying second, which gave him a starting spot of 26. But you can see he's going on the inside of Blaze Alexander right now.
The Lisa Express Chevrolet pushes up high, and here goes the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet to the inside. Bob Hill and 46 Steele coming with him low in turn number 4.
And that is for position. That 4th place battle includes Bob Hill in the 46. Denton continues to hold 4th in the 86. But now you see Hill moving around, and he's coming after him. Meanwhile, right among that group are your leaders.
Yeah, the Highland Timber Ford, number 33, Harris Devane, running back there in 7th place. So even though these cars are mixed up a little bit, there's a lot of good battles right there.
Tim Steele with the advantage. And there comes that Harris Devane car in 7th spot in the 53. Just nips him on the inside.
And we've got the 3rd place car, Perry Tripp, coming back down pit road here. He must have a problem. Looks like they're going the right side. He must have a tire that went flat or equalized.
Tough break for Perry Tripp, who was running so well tonight here at Charlotte.
We're getting that story right now as to what the condition is on Perry Tripp. Sure looks like the Frederickstown, Missouri racer cut a tire down. Here's Tim Steele looking on the inside of that number 46 that's running in 5th spot. And the 46 of Bob Hill not giving him any room. Steele worked for it on the bottom. Take a couple of cuts there to keep it even.
Bob Hill with 2 career victories in this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series, Ken. And the thing about him, all of his great runs have come on the dirt as far as being in contention to win. But on the super speedways, Hill's been a very contender too. He has done well at Atlanta and also at Pocono, but this is the first time we're back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway in 32 years.
Let's find out what was wrong with that number 6. Here's Randy Kimball.
Well, the only thing they can say down here is they've got a vibration, so they did what they could under green. They wanted to come in and check the lug nuts, make sure they were all tight. They did that. Perry doesn't like it. He's coming back.
There you see Bob Hill out of Story City, Iowa. Sure gave us and has given us and continues to give. The Hutchersons are out of there. And
Ramos Todd came from Iowa.
Keokuk. And, of course, Tommy Long from Harlan, way back when. Terrific racers in Iowa. And this Hill certainly like to be remembered in that group. Coming to halfway. There's Devane. The number 33 is in 6th spot. And right behind him comes that number 53 trying to take it away.
That's Toby Butler in that car. Toby did a good job driving for Kenny Schrader in the Super Trucks back a couple weeks ago on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And
put it right up in front of the pole.
Yeah, put it on the pole. So.
And won at what? Salem this year? Where did he win?
Yeah, Salem. Driving for Kenny Schrader again. So Toby Butler's doing a really good job for the Schraders.
Third place car, Denton, getting passed by the leader. And remember, that puts him a lap down to the leader. Tim Steele drawing away. I kind of thought Tim Steele was going to get caught up with Hillenberg after those lengthy pit stops. Well, they sorted themselves out. Randy can tell us more about Perry Tripp's evening, as well as what happened to Kurt Shelmerdine.
Well, Tripp's back down. They're going to go ahead and change 4. That might be the vibration he's talking about. And one thing it might compare to what's happening to Kurt Shelmerdine. He had an equalized tire. Maybe that's what Perry was feeling out there. Kirk had a left rear equalized. They came down pit road, changed 2, sent him back out. Kirk's okay. So it's a possibility they're checking the tires, make sure he didn't have one equalized, and he didn't quite feel right, and Tripp's going back out.
Ray Dunlap, the question seems to be at halfway as we watch Steele out in front, and here's Devane still trying to hold off Toby Butler. Is the work on pit road. Guys out here on the racetrack are doing a super job at that business of creating teams specifically to get it done, unless you've got an all-girl orchestra like Venturini.
Well, you know, we talk about consistency, Ken, and that's a big part of being consistent and doing well and running up front. And when you see 2 of the top teams like we have, of Hillenberg and Tim Steele having trouble like that, it can happen to anybody on any given day, but you're probably not going to win the race in the big time if you have a pit stop like that.
Speaking of the all-female pit crew, I want to send out a well wish to Bill Price, the boss from Loctite Permatex that helped us organize the all-female pit crew. He got sick here Saturday during the race, and they had to take him over to the hospital, but he did get released, and he's back home, and I hope he's doing fine.
They're going to move on the racetrack as Blaze Alexander of Lisa Express Chevrolet went under Kelly Denton. Here comes Harris Devane. He's going to make the pass, and Hillenberg also. So 3 cars slingshotting by.
That's Toby Butler.
Butler in number 3, 853. Those cars look just about alike as Hillenberg in 52 and Butler in 53.
Yeah, those 2 cars, the AC Delta cars, are definitely painted identical. But the Harris Devane and the Toby Butler cars are racing for position. Even though they're a lap down, they're racing for 6th place right now.
And Tim Steele now has the field covered. He has 8 seconds on 2nd place Hillenberg at this moment. 8 seconds is a pretty healthy lead in this form of competition. We're going to take another break. We have 87 laps now complete here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Automobile Racing Club of America. 130.5 miles. Steele leading. Tim Steele and some heavy traffic out there trying to maneuver his way through, coming down off the here they come, fighting their way into the main straightaway. Take a look as they come 3, 4 wide. We've got one in big trouble. Up on the outside, that looked like the 46 went all the way to the wall.
Trouble for Bob Hill.
Yeah, you can see definitely bounced off the wall, broke the panner bar in the rear, and it's got to be rubbing against the fender.
Boy, you could see that one coming. You had that one called, Bill. Gee whiz, 46 trying to make them 4 wide, and they've broken up this car out of Iowa. Here comes Bob Hill in, who made such a great run here. And the Advance car is going to need a little work. No caution on the track. Tim Steele was trying to move around Eckert and 00, and they got all bottled up back there.
As you can see, the right side of the car is totally flat from bouncing off the wall, and usually what that does, like I said, you can see the right front wheels bent in and the right rear wheels flattened on the edge too.
They're going to have to do some body work on that car to get that back out to the racetrack too, so we'll see if we can get a replay of that particular incident where Bob Hill went into the wall.
Take another look. This was at lap 93. Another look. This is from the rear. He's up on the outside. He's all the way up on the outside. Ugh. And another angle. Fortunate that he didn't get it crossed up.
Excellent job keeping it straight after bouncing off the wall.
Well, Glenn Brewer's down to the inside here, and Rick Eckert in the 00 car got too wide, and Norm Benning decided to pass on the outside at number 84, and you can't go 4 wide down the front straightaway.
They just did. Glenn Brewer in the number 1 down there on the bottom. They continue to work on that car, number 46, that bounced off the wall, Bob Hill, and Steve Burns is there.
Ken, and you folks at home, you can see they're frantically trying to pull a sheet metal away from the rear wheel well. They spent a lot of time on the front wheel well trying to get the sheet metal off the tire. They're going to send it back out, but we'll have to take a look and see if the tires are free of the sheet metal.
Take a look at what happened to Tim Steele. He continues to lead just moments ago as he tries to sort himself out in traffic. That's Devane, Harris Devane, the 33, right behind him. Here they come. Hello. Whoops.
Hey, Tim, I'm behind you.
You can see when Harris...
that chrome horn.
Yeah, when Harris got underneath it, it kind of lifted the back end of the car up on Tim. And that usually gives you a little scare when you're driving. You're not expecting it. And it breaks the back end of the car loose.
Well, he's clear. Tim Steele stays up in front. Andy Hillenberg in second. And the car right behind Steele is actually the third-place car, Blaze Alexander.
You know, Ken, we talk about all the money that Tim's able to walk away with this weekend if he's able to win this second race here at Charlotte. Just moments ago, they got the halfway indication, and he picked up another $1,000 from Auto Value Auto Parts, who post that at every super speedway. So Tim Steele going to have a nice pile of money in his pocket tonight if he's able to hold on and win this ADG EasyCare 400.
But this particular group of racers, this is still a group that runs low rent. They don't go out there with a lot of the fancy stuff. They're just real racers that are pretty used to pulling it all together themselves.
Well, every bit of money really helps when you're running at this kind of a level. And as I said, 28 races this season, really taxing these guys. Bob Hill now with the hood up down there on the pit road, and it doesn't look good to him. Let's go to Steve Burns and check out that situation.
Ray, the crew chief, just gave him the kill signal to turn the ignition off. Again, their problem a moment ago appeared to be just sheet metal. Bob came back in, they raised the hood, didn't like what they saw there's a lot of smoke coming, and they just gave him the kill signal.
Looks like the 13 may have erupted out there. Philip Young's car throwing out some smoke. That looks like the end of the night for Clay Young's son. Clay Young, the many-time sport car champion. Philip out of Georgia, has aspirations in stock car racing, moved up into the stock car ranks, and that's a bad break for Philip Young.
Bill, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the man hours that go into repairing these cars. We saw Mike Cicchetti's car was heavily damaged the other night, and Philip Young got crashed there really late in the race. And these guys all went home and fixed these cars. How much time does it take?
Well, they didn't go home. They spent a lot of hours late at night here at the Speedway or by someone's shop. If there's not extensive frame damage, you can fix them, but I'm sure they probably spent about 30, 40 hours just over the weekend trying to get the cars ready. My son had crashed on Saturday and bent the front flip a little, and there was no way that we had, even with the amount of people we had, that we could get it fixed in time.
Well, you see Tim Steele continuing to weave and wind his way through traffic, putting on a great show. We talked to Tim Steele earlier about the importance of winning at super speedways and how to get it done. This is what Tim Steele, in number 16, had to tell us.
It's great to come to the high exposure racetracks and always be in the hunt, you know, to win. And then winning is just, it's a high you can't even explain, you know, especially coming here for the first time, 150,000 people here, and, you know, winning in front of them. And it was a good race. Nothing, you know, like early in the race we had a good car, and then our pit stop we got back, and it was 5 laps to go, and I'm sitting about 7th or 8th spot, you know, and you do something like that, and you can't even, words can't describe how good it feels.
That he was alluding to Saturday night. I want to pose a question here to Ray Dunlap. You hear about the Winston Cup teams, $4 million teams and so forth. What can you bring a team out for to run the ARCA series?
Well, Ken, the thing you've got to understand is some of these teams are able to build their stuff from the ground up. A team like Bobby Bowser and the Bowser Racing Group, car number 21, they build every part and piece on that car, put it together, and bring it out to the racetrack, paint it at their own shop. So that's much more economical to do than some of the teams who buy a Winston Cup car and come out and do some racing there. But you're talking on an average of around $10,000 to $15,000 per super speedway race just to get here.
For super speedway show. Well, there you see the 16 Steel, whose advantage now stands at about 12 seconds over Hillenberg, and we can show you a little bit about how this field is deployed. Take a look at Steel. He's out of turn 2. He's into the backstretch. And let's watch to see Hillenberg in the number 52 running in second spot, give you an idea where he is out there.
The car that was right behind Steele is Blaze Alexander, but he's running 4th, and he's a lap down. You go all the way back here to Andy Hillenberg, who's on the lead lap at 104, just now taking 105.
Now the 33, that's Devane, is into 3rd. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton for a minute.
Yeah, we've got Bob Hill. Bob, first of all, we're going to cue up that replay of you getting in the wall. What happened, if you can describe it for us? We're going to show you through right here.
Well, as I remember, they're running about 4 wide, and you got cars out there going a lot slower than the pace was, and everybody was trying to go around him, and I just got forced out into the fence. It's unfortunate. The Advanced Auto Parts Chevy was really running good. I think we were running 3rd, and there was a lot of race to go, but we're out today.
Break a line?
Yeah, I busted the line off the fuel pump.
Tough break.
Well, there's the story on the number 46. Sad one for him. Nice guy. Tim Steele stays in front, continuing to lead and to draw away by now more than 12 seconds, with 107 of 66 complete. We're back with 109 laps complete, 163.5 miles, 86 miles left to play this one out. There you see the statistics on super speedway victories, and Tim Steele can join that group that are tied 3 ways: Adcox, Horton, and Charging Charlie, all up there with 80.
Jeff Purvis is the other driver on that list, not Charlie Glotzback. Of course, Charlie has led the most laps on super speedways in ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde competition, but Tim Steele, if he wins tonight, moves up to 8. And I think the significant thing there, Ken, is the fact that throughout the course of the season, there's 6 more super speedway races left, and it looks like there's trouble on the track with Blaze Alexander. He's slow going down the back straightaway.
4th place car, Blaze Alexander coming in, something to miss there. Steele can make it a 4-way tie for super speedway wins in ARCA. He can keep this one throttling just the way it is right now. But the leading rookie in ARCA this year, Blaze Alexander, is easing his car down onto pit road. Back up front, there you see the leader. That's Steele, and directly behind him is the 53 running in 5th spot. Toby Butler trying to get back up there in that lead lap. Toby Butler, who was mentioned earlier, set on the pole out there in the Northwest at Seattle the other day in the truck race. Won himself an ARCA race earlier this season. And right now in the 26th pit is Steve Burns.
Okay. Yeah, I just talked to Dale Perry, the crew chief, and he said the car just shut off. It just quit running, and we don't know why. So obviously they're going to put the hood up and take a look. The thing just flat quit.
What a tough break for Blaze Alexander and all the guys from Montoursville, PA, running down here in Charlotte. You know, Ken, his best super speedway finish coming into this year was a 5th at Pocono last year. They were ecstatic with that one, and then they run 2nd the other night, so they had high hopes tonight here in the 400-kilometer limit.
And in that 100-miler, it was a rip snorter right to the finish. This one, they're giving him an opportunity to run a little longer, and this is a battle for position right now. You see Denton out there in the 86.
Black 98 of Kirk Shelmerdine running right behind him.
A little bit of smoke there off of car number 84. That's Norm Benning in the 84 Lumber Chevrolet. Looks like Norm having a little bit of motor trouble. But yeah, this is a pretty decent battle here. Denton certainly has to be disappointed with his performance tonight. After setting on the pole here Saturday night and having a great run, he's running back in 8th and 9th position with Shelmerdine.
He's running in 8th, Shelmerdine in 9th, trying to take a position down. Shelmerdine right here. They are running 3 laps down to the leader. As the leaders are at 113, they are at 110. And part of that was the way that pit stop fell, set them back. Shelmerdine in that number 98 still has aspirations of being a driver. He was certainly a great crew chief for many years for Dale Earnhardt. A lot of talk that he might leave a racing career and go back again to being a crew chief as he was for so many years.
Well, that 86 car of Kelly Denton.
There's been some talk, and I really haven't made any kind of a decision one way or the other. What I end up doing is just going to depend on all the other factors that go with it. You know, you can't, if there's a team that expects one guy to come make a difference and fix all their problems and you know, take them from the back of the pack to the front, you know, I can't help you. And one guy can't do that kind of thing. There has to be a lot of little tools and factors and circumstances there that's already in place that I feel like are part of the formula for success and for me to be happy too. So, you know, I guess just the right mix of things hadn't presented itself yet, but we don't know how it's going to go, and I guess that's what keeps us all getting up every day. We see what's going to happen next.
Sounds like he might be ready to go back as a crew chief. And here comes Shelmerdine down on the inside. He tried racing before, came out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, moves inside Denton, and this struggle is on for 7th spot.
Ray had mentioned earlier about Kelly Denton, a little disappointed. I was talking to him a little earlier tonight. He's got some hopes and aspirations of running for the whole ARCA series for this year. He's talked to me a little about running the short tracks and what type of car he would need, what kind of setups. If they get the right type of sponsorship that they're looking for, that they'll continue to run for the whole season the rest of the year.
Bobby Bowser has just pulled into the pits with number 21, and Randy is there.
Well, right now it's left side tires, clean the windshield, dump a load of fuel in it. Could this load take them the rest of the way? I speculate that it can, and that's one reason. They're just going to go ahead and do the lefts. That's about it. Uh-oh, NASCAR official going to hold them. That is not good. Tough break for a guy that's got 4 top 10s, 4 top 5s, and a victory. He gave a little stop and go.
He was running in 12th on the 118th lap when he pitted. That got him to 176 of the 250 miles, 176 and a half. Comes back out here.
You know, we were talking about the family tradition, Ken, and that's really the Bowser story. Of course, Bobby won the 92 and 1994 title for the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series, and his dad, Jack, won it back in 1963, 64, and 65. And you mentioned earlier in the show that Bowser was on the pole here 32 years ago, but Bill Venturini, those cars certainly were a lot different than the ones we're racing tonight.
Oh, yeah. You can see right now that looks like the 33 car of Harris Devane is back around Tim Steele. Tim had got around him a little earlier, and Harris Devane looks like he's put himself back on the lead lap, last car on the lead lap.
And Toby Butler's trying to get himself back on that lead lap. And he's right up on the tail end, giving Tim Steele a little how do you do, and slides right through on the inside. Looks like Steele maybe wants
coming down pit road. Coming down the backstretch, Steele was waving his arm and trying to get Toby to go to the outside, but Toby either didn't see him or didn't know what he was saying. This is his first Super Speedway start. Maybe he wasn't sure what Tim wanted to do, but Steele now on pit road.
That looked like a disaster in the making, but they got through it, and Steve Burns is down there following the leader.
Tim Steele brings the car right dead center down pit road. Tom Sokolowski and the crew go to the right side. We believe this would be a 4-tire pit stop. A 4-tire pit stop. So far, good news on the right side. The Jackman brings it around to the driver's side. This is a very good pit stop. Better than the last one they had, which was 31.4 seconds. A little bit of a problem getting the left front on. The left rear is on, but they should get him down and away right now. There he goes.
So Steele is away in 27.8. Let's take another look at what happened to Tim Steele as he tried to get himself onto pit road. And had a little bit of trouble with Toby Butler. It's a lap car just there on the inside. Now here comes Toby Butler pulling up. Tim Steele is slowing down to make that entry. Gets drop kicked once. And Toby shoots through on the inside. Whoa!
Well, that's David Frog Hall down to to the inside in car number 12. Butler comes up. You can see Steele's waving still in the cockpit. He says, I got to go to pit road. Toby gives him a little bit of a nudge right back there where it says sim link, goes to the inside, but Steele safely makes it on the pit road to do his pit stop.
There's Andy Hillenberg in the 52, and I think this will put him up where he wants to be right now. For the point, Andy Hillenberg. Andy Hillenberg gets the advantage. Second spot is still being shown as Steele after that 27-second pit stop. You know, when Jack Bowser was the fast qualifier here 32 years ago, he sat on the pole at 144 miles an hour. Tonight's average speed, what have we had? 3 cautions? 3 cautions so far? 2 cautions. 148.
Well, you know, like
how far we've come.
You're talking about 2 total different kind of races from 1964 till tonight, and different types of cars, and they did the race a little bit different back in those days.
Back in the 64,
tell us about it.
You kind of, well, from what I heard, it was more of a stock automobile that you actually almost bought from the showroom, and then you converted it into a race car. You put a roll cage in it. You did all the modifications you did to make it, you know, faster and safer. Where now you buy a race car chassis and you build a body around it.
You just saw that move, 16 and 52 out there, and I believe that was for position. I would give that lead back another time to Tim Steele, and he just motored by the number 52 of Andy Hillenberg.
Yeah, Andy's slow. He's coming on the pit road. He ducks down right in front of David Hall. So Hillenberg now onto the pit road, brings down his number 52 AC Delco Chevrolet, and we'll go down to Randy Pemberton and watch Andy bring it in and see if this time they can do a little bit better job.
Well, they certainly hope so. You wonder if there's any strategy whatsoever now. They're going to go to the right side. Definitely right side tires. Going to be lefts. Already loosening left side lug nuts. Only a couple cars that look like they're in the ball game at this particular time. No reason to take any chances. Go ahead and get yourself some foreskins on this car. Nice, smooth pit stop. Left side lugs already loose. Second can of gas going in. Not the quickest pit stop in the world, but nice and smooth. That's what they want. Left side's now going off. Little trouble on the left rear for Hillenberg's guys. Windshield nice and clean. Jack getting ready to drop. Who's your tires, Rod? Andy down and away. 30.9. Not what we see in the Winston Cup Series weekly, but a good stop.
So, with Bill Venturini and Ray Dunlap, Ken Squire here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, following the Automobile Racing Club of America as they run 250 miles on this mile and a half. More of the story shortly. It's a nice night out here at Charlotte. Everybody's beginning to feel their stuff here as we watch Tim Steele continuing to lead. He and Hillenberg, if you look at the top 10, have a lap on the rest of the field. Harris Devane in that 3rd spot, and Eckert is there well in 4th spot, and then in 5th, another lap down, is the number 86, and there we have Kelly Denton. Hey, I want to thank Mr. Dunlap, Ray Dunlap, for being with us for a little while tonight. Thank you for coming up.
Been a pleasure. Looking forward to coming back in October.
All right, October 2nd. Back with you at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Tim Steele is making a shambles of this field. He's now got a lap on the entire outfit. There he is in number 16. And right after him comes Hillenberg in 2nd, but a lap down. And this is for position. The 53 and the 86. And they're a lap apart. Correction. So, but now, how tough is life out there on pit road? I'll show you how. Here's Kurt Shelmerdine when he pitted. His jack man was right there, waiting on the car.
Watch the guy in the right front corner, right front corner.
That's the jack man. Whoa. Picks his jack up and went to work. 3,400 pounds right there in the tummy. It was not an equal battle. Blaze Alexander, who's had a great night for a while. Here's Steve Burns.
And the number 26 parked here on pit road, not where Blaze wants to be. Blaze finished 2nd on Saturday night. Blaze, what put you out tonight?
I think we broke a timing belt. I don't know. It was running great. I mean, I was flying, and I think just all of a sudden shut off. We thought maybe it's the ignition, but it was something in the timing belt. And we were running awesome. I feel bad for Leeds Express. We are running 2nd. We're trying to increase one more position from Saturday. I think we would have done it. We were flying, but oh well. We've been Charlotte's been pretty good to us for our second time here. We'll get him next time.
You did a great job. Best luck next time.
20 years old, and there will be certainly another time for him. 44.5 miles remaining as Tim Steele continues to just cover them all here tonight at Charlotte. Doyle Ford has just put the field back under caution at lap 140 of 166 to be run. Caution is out on the track, and here comes the pace car out to pick him up. We didn't see anybody in trouble. I think there may be some debris out here. Steele has the field covered by a lap at the present time. They say there was a beverage can down there in turn 1 they wanted picked up. So that's being done at this moment, and we'll be back to do some more racing at Charlotte. Anybody want to buy a t-shirt? Hey, you want to buy a sweatshirt, Venturini? Venturini's cold up here. I mean, everybody else is out there in t-shirts, and he's complaining that his feet are cold.
Standing over this air conditioning duct.
All right, here at Charlotte, we're down to 142 laps complete. 166 the measure of this race for the second appearance of ARCA this year, and they'll be back here October 2nd. There's the top 5 with Steele in the lap unto himself. And then we have 3 cars, 1 lap down. You see Hillenberg, Devane, and Butler. They may get a chance to try to sort themselves out here. Then in 5th spot at the present time, it's Kelly Denton. Kelly's had a good run all evening. Running in the 6th position is Ed Dixon. And holding up in 7th would be Kurt Shelmerdine. What a night he's had. Ran over his jackman. It's a tough jackman. We'll take a last break before the checkers and then get back to show you all of this battle that's coming up, particularly in that fight for a second spot. 3 cars ready to duke it out. So a quick break and then back, and hopefully we'll be there right to the checkers tonight. That Del McCowart story that's going on, 9th place, Bill. Randy can tell us more about this number 0 story tonight.
Well, he's gonna have a heck of a party. He's got 2 cars in the top 10. Andy Stone is also one of his cars, is it not, Bill?
That's right. The number 8 car, we're running 10th. That's also Del McCart's car.
Wow.
Two cars in the top 10.
Yep, that's a career for him tonight.
Now the good news is they're not in the same lap where they might take each other out. So
now then the party's over.
Then the party's over. Party about to begin for Tim Steele. 152 of 166 complete. I think we're going to have a green next time by 1 to go, and they'll turn them loose with Steele in front, 152 complete. Then in 2nd spot at 151 is Hillenberg. Devane right behind him, and lining up would be Toby Butler next. They're all in that same lap, battling for 2nd spot. Hillenberg in the 52, Devane in the 33, Butler in the 53, back there in 4th. In a lap by himself, at lap 150, that would be Kelly Denton. Denton stays there in 5th spot. Then in 6th spot there is the 98.
6th and 7th are both on the same lap.
That would be Shelmerdine in 6th, and with him comes Ed Dixon. They are both in the same lap, lap 148. 84 almost had an incident out here under caution. They're saying Norm Benning. See his car getting ready and getting sorted out as they get ready on the restart.
Now you can see the right front corner, the right front fender of his cars was smashed in, which had to happen over the yellow because he was running fine up until this caution period.
Pennsylvania driver in his own Chevrolet. 15th here on Saturday night. Gaining some valuable experience. I'll tell you again where the ARCA cars are next. Move back to Xenia, Ohio for the end of the month.
You can see there's something dragging on the left front corner of Norm Benning's car. Looks like the pace car is, lights are off, coming down pit road, and Doyle Fort's ready to give him the green for the 12-lap shootout.
12 laps to go. The battle is for 2nd spot. Tim Steele has it all his own way as he goes into turn number 1. Andy Hillenberg's going to have his hands full.
You see, look at Del McCart drop down to the inside and go to the front.
Oh, got blood in his eye now. He's up there in the top 10. Dalma's having the night. Meanwhile, 2nd spot. There you see Hillenberg. Devane coming after him, and Toby Butler in the 53. That's your race.
Well, Kenny Schrader's got to be happy. He's got 2 of his cars running in the top 4 positions, 2nd and 4th.
Schrader's been a big supporter of ARCA.
Always has been. Kenny Schrader has been supporting ARCA ever since I've known him. He even, whenever he can run the races himself, he was driving some of the cars.
On pit road, we see number 0, Del McCowart, jumped on the restart, and they brought him in. Oh, God.
I said it looked like he was moving to the front when they dropped the green flag, but they caught him jumping the restart. Gets a stop-and-go penalty, and they'll go back out, get back in the field. It still should keep him in the top 10.
Tim Steele, who has proven to be a man of steel, had kidney stone, went out and raced anyway. Had to lift him into the car and lift him out after. He said, yeah, it was painful, but I was in the point battle.
Yeah, plus he also won the race in Atlanta, which made it really nice for him.
Unbelievable.
Relieved some of the pain.
Look at Hillenberg trying to hold off Harris Devane in the red and white number 33, and here comes Toby Butler. Toby Butler was really impressive out in Seattle today. We had the pleasure of watching that race, and what a show that was. Mike Bliss, a great favorite of the Northwest, finally was able to pull out of the fire, but they put on some exhibition. And with 8 laps to go, there you see Steele, and he has them covered by a lap. Here's your second place war. Hillenberg, followed by Devane. Then comes Toby Butler.
You can see going into the corner, Harris Devane's dropping down a little lower, and his left side tires are hitting the white line. What it's causing his car to do then is right in the center, the car is having to push up because he's actually trying to get to the corner a little too low. I think if he'd probably take a little higher line going in, let the car wash up a little more going in, and then pinch it down, he'd probably get a better run on the 52 car of Andy Hillenberg.
That 53, Toby Butler out of Kirkland, Washington. There you see Hillenberg maintaining that second spot. Can't believe what you're going to see Butler make a move here in the next couple of laps. He shot to the inside once, found a pond down there, and couldn't move around it. Harris Devane is giving that car a good ride. As we get into these final laps, Harris Devane stays in third spot. He definitely looks like he does not want to give that up. He holds that line, but he comes up off it just a little. That's about all that, with 6 laps to go, that told now Butler's coming to the outside. Great show by Harris Devane. This is a good battle for second spot. Andy Hillenberg there. Devane staying right in it. Looking for his best finish to date. Toby Butler trying to set him back. Harris Devane running for Rookie of the Year in the number 33. Really being impressive as we're down to 5 to go, Bill.
5 laps to go.
Harris Devane out of Georgia began racing at 15. He married Jennifer Jones.
Harris Devane's got a good, strong car coming off the corner, but like I said, right in the center, he seems to have to either get off the throttle.
There's your leader. Here's second, third, fourth, but there is a lap separation between them here. Toby Butler holding on to this thing and trying to find a place to move, and Harris Devane not giving him an inch. Well, the Elliott brothers have got to be happy with Harris Devane. Ford looking very, very good. Here's Toby Butler, and again, that inside bottled up as they found Weinbauer. Gary Weinbauer's number 75 down there that time.
Harris Devane's closed right up on Hillenberg's bumper, coming off of 4. Getting into 1, it seems like Andy gets into 1 just a little bit better, pulls him coming off the corner, and then Harris will pick it up, running down the back straightaway. There's smoke coming off in a number 30 car of Ron Burchett.
He had a good run going earlier tonight, and it's gone south on him. I wonder if Harris Devane is Toby Butler finds a hole on the inside, pulls up now, switches. Not going to get through there, and you can see some speed being pulled. Coming down, Toby Butler looks to the outside another time. A couple to go. Down to 2. Really impressed with Harris Devane. Remember, he came in here third in points. Steele in front, Bowser in second, and Harris Devane smooth and easy. Trying to hold off Toby Butler. If you hold off Toby Butler, you've done a day's work.
White flag.
Final time around. Tim Steele is on his way into the ARCA record books as an 8-time winner on super speedways. With the names Adcox, Van Horton, and Purvis. Here's that battle for second spot. It's kept it interesting all the way to the checkers. It'll be the 11th career win for Tim Steele, 8th on the super speedways. There's Steele across, leads ARCA standings now by a whopping 440 points. And for second spot, give it all as they were running to Hillenberg, followed by the 33. Devane will be settling for that. Toby Butler next. Great night tonight here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for Tim Steele. We'll tell you more about him and let you meet the man after we take this quick break.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, everybody. Tim Steele dances on the top of his car, his second win at Charlotte Motor Speedway this week. Tim, congratulations. You had him covered.
Thanks, man. I got to dedicate this to everybody's wives on the team because everybody's been working way hard. They haven't been home much. And, I really appreciate them being so understanding. Ernie Elliott gave us one heck of a motor and everything went just, awesome. And can't wait to, maybe we'll debut a Winston Cup car this year, and we'll see what, I think we might be able to at least make the shows and put a decent run, and hopefully we'll get something put together for next year.
Well, Tim, you made it look easy, but as you said, I know a lot of hard work went into these 2 victories here at Charlotte.
Yeah, the guys done one heck of a job. The guys back at the shop, the guys here, the car, nothing ever leaked, nothing ever fell off. It's just almost it's perfect, it don't happen like this all the time.
Well, congratulations, Tim. And let's go back upstairs now to the guys in the booth.
He led 141 of 166 laps as you take a look at the unofficial results and averaged 138 miles an hour. Tim Steele said before this show, we crossed the I on Saturday and we're out to cross the T tonight. They sure did it. In capital letters, Tim Steele victorious. And there is good news on Steve Clark. He's been taken to the hospital for observation, but he is conscious and seems to be okay. That's Steve Clark that crashed up in turn 4. Bill Venturini, thought from you as we get ready to wrap this one up?
Oh, I'm really excited that ARCA had a good chance to show the people how they race here, especially at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Good for the series, good for the drivers. Nice, clean racing for two straight days here. And Tim Steele just showed how dominant he is right now. And like he had said in the interview that he thinks it's time to run a couple of Winston Cup races, and I have to agree with him. He's ready. The point standings right now for the ARCA series is Tim Steele's definitely got a good lead with 2,190 points. Second is Bobby Bowser. Harris Devane still holding off third.
Well, and he's moved by Blaze Alexander. That's one big story there, and those are both rookies, and he's pulled by that spot.
Well, Blaze and Ed Dixon are both tied for 4th.
So, I want to thank everybody that helped us tonight down on pit road. Steve Burns and Randy Pemberton were there. Ray Dunlap came by for a while from the Automobile Racing Club of America and really helped out. And we want to thank Tim Steele for some exhibition. The Charlotte track is definitely the place you want to show your talent. And my, did Tim Steele do it in the month of May, 1996. From Charlotte, Ken Squire, thank you for being with us to see the Automobile Racing Club of America and Tim Steele show their stuff.